We're gonna make a zero waste pattern. I've never done it before, but I've been wanting to experiment with zero waste patterns for ages. And so I thought I already have the pattern. It's the zero waste shirt pattern from Birgitta Helmerson. It looks really cool from all the photos I've seen online. So we're gonna make it today. I'm a little intimidated because what a zero waste pattern entails, or at least what this one entails, is absolutely no physical pattern pieces. You have to draw it out on your fabric. So you're given the dimensions, you're given the layout, you're given your yardage, which I have right here, and you kind of just write it all down, you plot it all out on the fabric, you cut it, and then you sew according to the instructions. And I don't think that sewing it will actually be that challenging, but for some reason the idea of like taking the measurements and putting them onto the fabric is kind of tripping me up a bit, but I think it's gonna be good. I think it's nice to challenge myself a bit, so that's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna take you along through the process of mapping out this pattern onto the fabric, sewing it, and then seeing how it goes, seeing what it's like to sew a zero waste pattern, seeing if there's actually zero waste at the end, and then I'll show you the finished product and give you a little review. Let's do it. I remember why I didn't want to do this pattern, and it's because I had to do some math, because my fabric is not the exact size that it calls for in the pattern, so it means I have to do some mathy maths, and I don't like math. I don't like math. That's just who I am as a person, but I have to do math for this. So I'm gonna do the math. Got my computer out, I've got the measurements, and I'm just kind of calculating, and then I'm also like putting all the markings down on the fabric as I go. I recommend a big ruler for this, like a quilting ruler. This is gonna be a lifesaver. And then I've got my little marking tool. This is a really great marking tool. It's a Clover Choco liner. I really like the Choco liners. So I'm using this and I'm doing my math, and then I'm gonna put everything down, and we're gonna hopefully, it's not gonna take too long. So let's do that now. Okay, I changed my mind. Rather than trying to like redo the math, I read the instructions, and apparently you can use a fabric of different widths. It just means that the body is gonna be less wide, which is actually fine for me because I think it's quite wide in this pattern. So that's okay. I'm gonna fold this and I'm gonna follow the instructions. I'm gonna hopefully get through this. Whenever there's math, I remember why I didn't do this pattern yet. Let's just say that. I cut off the fabric over there that I'm not going to be using because it's only meant to be about a yard. So I wanted to use only what I wanted to work within like the confines of the pattern. So I cut it off so I can just focus on this, and I think it's going to be more manageable. So I'm going to keep going now. Okay, so I've got all my pattern pieces. That truthfully wasn't as bad as I was expecting. I think this is going to be quite a quick sew, but I always say that, so we'll see how it actually goes. That said, all the pieces are geometric, as you could expect, other than I think the little neck facing, but I didn't use any of the templates. So she gives you a template for 2 parts of the pattern that you can print out, but I wanted to try to go like full zero waste, and honestly I did. Like I don't have any waste. I have like my other yard of fabric that I'm going to use for a different project, but in terms of like the yard itself that I wanted to use, I used up all of it, and now I just get to get sewing. One thing I'll say about this pattern is that because it's zero waste, I feel like there's some weird little bits and bobs. Like it's purposely trying to use all the pattern pieces, so it makes it a bit weird. I don't know. I'm not struggling. I just find like I don't always understand why something is going somewhere. It doesn't, like, it's not fully apparent to me. That said, we're gonna keep sewing. Okay, I actually don't really like how some of this is done, so I think I'm gonna kind of redo the sleeves. I personally like to put in the sleeve flat. That's just kind of my favorite way of doing it, and I'm finding this a little confusing, so we're not gonna do it that way. Sometimes when something doesn't make sense to you, I think it makes sense to redo the way that it's done, or to do it in a way that does make sense to you. So I'm trying this on and it's fitting tighter than I was expecting it to. I thought it was supposed to be quite oversized. Also, I'm gonna be honest, I don't know. I don't find these instructions to be that great. And another thing that I don't like is this idea of being zero waist just to say it's zero waist. Oh, this is fitting very strange. So I think I'm gonna improvise from here on out because it's looking a little funky. And I think I have an idea how to salvage it, but I think I just gotta do that my own way. So I'm gonna do that now. I'm going rogue, but not that rogue, because like I think I do know what I'm doing. And I love this fabric. It's so stinking cute. Yeah, I do really like it. It's quite vivid. It looks better on me than I was expecting. I got nap hair. All right, I'm gonna keep sewing. Well, I think it looks pretty cute. I don't love how it's like sticking up at the neck over here. I don't know if that's something that other people would notice or just me, but I'm noticing it. It's a little funny. It's like a bit of a funny shape, to be honest, but that's okay. I quite like it. I just have to do the cuffs and then the buttons, but I'm gonna actually leave that for tomorrow because I'm tired now. So that's gonna be that for today. But this is really cute fabric, and I really like how it's looking. I'm really digging my high pony, you guys. I haven't been able to do a high pony in a minute, and now I'm into it, so see ya. Okay, so we're all done. I'm really happy with it, actually. Now that it's on, now that it's all finished, I can actually see myself wearing this and also making it again. It's always funny how that works when you're going through a pattern and you get to a point where you're like, I hate this, I'm never gonna wear it, this is the ugliest thing I've ever made. And then you finish it and you're like, this is the most beautiful thing I've ever made. I'm an angel, I'm perfect, it's stunning, you know, all that. So that's where we're at. I really like it. I really love the color. I like the fit a lot. Perfect crop. I actually think that because I went with the narrower fabric, I believe it was a 45 width fabric, maybe slightly bigger, but because I went with a narrower fabric, it gave it like a very narrow body. So I'm happy that I went with that in the end and that I didn't change the math around because I was getting cuckoo brain trying to do that. So I'm happy that that didn't work out and that I just went with the initial instructions and made it narrower. I would be curious to see how it would fit if it was a bit wider, but I think for like this purpose, super cute. I really like it. I love how these sleeves turned out. Like I said, I didn't follow her instructions at the end. I just kind of did my own thing. I don't know if these are what the sleeves are meant to be like. I assume they are. Like I'm assuming that it's kind of just a standard gathered cuff with this little cuff band, but I don't know because I didn't follow the instructions. I will make this pattern again. I will probably again sew it my way and not sew it her way because I found the instructions confusing, and that's just a very weird thing now when you find constructions from indie pattern designers to be confusing because I think that they should be really clear. I especially think they should be clear when you're sewing a pattern that has no pattern pieces. Like when everything is meant to be drawn on, when everything is sort of like DIY, I feel like it should be extra clear how to sew it. So that's a bit of a bummer for me. I think that this would have been a very beginner-friendly pattern if the instructions were a bit clearer. As well, I don't think it needed to be a zero waist pattern. I think that it's okay if something is minimal waist. I felt like the zero waistness of it was a bit gimmicky because honestly, we didn't need to use all those pieces. There were like 3 pieces that could have been scraps and they would have been like this much in total. That said, it's fine. It's just a little nitpicky of me. I'm gonna show you the one little final walkthrough of how it turned out and then I'm gonna let you go. So this is it. I think the crop of it is really cute. I really like the buttons that I ended up choosing. There we go. I really like these buttons. I think they're very, very pretty. I think they fit perfectly. I'm so happy I went into my button stash for these. And I really like this for summer, like a light summer layer. I think it'll be perfect for fall. It'll probably be a bit too light for winter, but maybe with a layer underneath, who knows. I'm just really happy with it. I will make this pattern again, as I said, but I will do it my own way. If you feel like hanging out with me while I sew a little bit more, you can click this playlist right here, because I have a whole bunch of other sew along videos here. Otherwise, I will see you next time. Bye.